what do I actually want to do? Not what my dad wants from me, not what society wants from me, not what Instagram's telling me to do, but what do I actually want to do? And be patient, because these answers do not come overnight.
Introducing the Vixen Voice, a podcast for ambitious women entrepreneurs ready to move into their feminine essence, live their truth, and unlock their full potential. I'm your host, April Roberts, and each week I'll be interviewing inspiring women who decided to take a leap of faith to pursue their dream. Women who believe that they were born for something bigger. Hey there, just popping in quickly. It's April Roberts, and I wanted to thank you for being a loyal listener of the Vixen Voice. It means so much to me. And because of that, we're going to be popping in these little announcements because I want you to be the first to know what's going on at the Vixen Gathering. So if you haven't done so yet, click the link below and check out the Vixen Founders Collective. The members who are already in are raving, and we would love to have you join us in the ultimate business consulting, networking, and personal growth community for Gen X female founders. See you there. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Vixen Voice. Today's panel is going to be hot, hot, hot. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see that we have a bunch of hot brunettes on for you today. And if you're listening, just picture it, all right? So I'm really excited about our conversation today. You know, I love every episode and all our guests, but today we're really talking about how you can change your life at any time in life. And this is something near and dear to me. I remember one time I met a man in his 80s who was running 100-mile races, right? And the genuine kind of concept is past a certain age, you shouldn't be running that much. And I know there is another culture where they think the older you get, the faster you run. So actually, people who are advanced in age run faster than the 20-somethings. So it's really amazing that sometimes we hold these beliefs we don't even understand, and they are keeping us in a cage. And here on the Vixen Voice, we want to encourage you to live a charged life, continue thriving. This changes as our age changes and as our life changes. But really, what is the dream life for you now? And if you don't feel you're living it, please listen in, because why else are we here, right? So it is my great honor to welcome my two guests today, Sairan Aqrawi and Fernanda, Bertrand. And Sairan is a seasoned professional with a rich background in, get this, engineering and business coaching. So I bet you're pretty good at reverse engineering goals, huh, Sairan? I love that. And she's also dedicated to driving technical solutions and advancing organizational excellence. And what I love is that in her coaching business, she really helps midlife women find their hidden talents so that they can have a thriving side business or a new business. So we're going to dig into that today. And Fernanda, I love this. She has a company called Creating Change where she coaches with her husband. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've ever worked with family, this is like the highest challenge, right? So coaches and living with her husband. So I can't wait to hear her wisdom today. And she also has her own coaching practice with a more holistic approach for women. And she's a purpose-driven entrepreneur, podcast host, writer, and coach with a passion for helping others find clarity and fulfillment. And she is also the host of the Highest Self Project. I think we all need to listen to that. So welcome, ladies. So excited to have you today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, April. Thank you for having us and meeting Fernanda as well.
Yes.
Glad to meet both of you.
Sairan.
And by the way, I just want to share, if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, love it, but go check this episode out on YouTube because the glowing smiles on these women's faces is just making my day. I know because we're all smiling, you can hear it across the airwaves regardless, but go check it out. I love it. So, ladies, today we're talking about how like you really can change your life at any age. So, I'm super curious. Obviously, we've all had lives, we've had different experiences, we all have multiple businesses, right? So, and that's what I love. I get to meet all the multi-dimensional women that come on this show, and everyone's fascinating. So what I'd love to hear, and we'll start with you, Sairan, is what is a pivotal story or moment in your life that either led you to do what you're doing or help create the, amazing woman that we're chatting with today?
Thank you, April, for the question, and I'm glad to be in this lovely platform. As you said, we all have something to give and offer, leave an impact in this world. And for me, doing engineering for so many years, over 35 years, that's telling you I'm old. So I've been doing this engineering practice for so many years, from surveying, being on the side, boots on the ground, design, being in corporate, county, big company, small company. The pivotal moment happened when I finished my master's degree in George Washington University because I was so pumped. I was like, yay, I'm smart in math. Let's do it. I'm smart. Let's do it. I made a mistake and I start doctoral. And doctoral degree, it's a different story than master. You literally have to be a bear in a cave, bro beer, just study all day long and paper and, just isolate from the world. And that was impossible for me because I was raising two kids while they both 18 months apart, teenage, while their dad was deployed outside U.S. So it was a hard decision. And universe, God, whatever you want to call it, send me a signal and a message saying, hey, Sairan, you're a smart engineer, but you have something else to offer. And the pivotal moment happened when the university asked me to guide or mentor or give a little speech with the younger engineer who are willing to start their life as an engineer in the field or going out of the workforce, or if they decide to pursue their higher degree in master or doctoral. After I finished the speech, I never thought about I'm a speaker or I'm a mentor, I'm a coach. The signal and the message came from God, say, hey, listen to yourself. What else you can offer to the universe? What other impact you can do here? So the head of the department, the woman engineering, she called me and she said, oh my God, the girls love you. Do you happen to be a coach? And I'm like, what's she talking about? Coach, what is that? So being a naive engineer, that telling you engineer are not the super smart. We are just good in math, trust me. And I thought I'm smart until that day. I found out I'm not really smart. Because when she said, are you a coach? All my mind went to sport coach. And I used to be in my 20s, a swimming coach for 5 years. So I said, how do you know I was a swimming coach? And she's like, so no, I'm not talking about that coach. I'm talking about a life and business coach. I was like, what's she talking about? So she made me curious. And while I was my first semester in doctoral, I fell in love with ICF and the mentoring and coaching packages. I put my doctoral in freeze. It's still in the freezer. I never completed. Fell in love with the entrepreneurship, with small business for women. I started a business. That was the pivotal moment, and I never looked back, and I'm keep going.
I love it. I love it. It's amazing when you look back at the tapestry of our lives and what we did and what it leads us to, right? Sometimes you have no idea why something's happening. And then later you look back and you go, oh, okay, I see it. So I love that. And Fernanda, how about you? What was a pivotal moment for you?
Well, I've had lots of pivotal moments from moving from Brazil to the US when I was 16 to having kids. But I think what led me to what I'm doing right now, I had a previous business before this, and I had a staging company with a partner.
Mm.
And I gave my all for 3 years of my life to that business. Didn't see my kids for 2 years, just
Wow.
working. And I was just so focused on the money, right? Like there was a part of me,
Mhm.
this part of me that really wanted to become successful and show it to myself and others that I could do it. And I got to this point in my business where it was like dreamy. We hit 7 figures in gross revenue, over 7 figures. And I realized that I was never more miserable in my life. I
Oh,
was
wow.
making more money than I had ever made in my life, and simultaneously felt just so empty. Like I
Mhm.
thought that the money was going to give me this sense of fulfillment, and it just didn't. It was just a really empty feeling. And I
Mhm.
just realized that I was really chasing the wrong things, and decided to take a step back before I can take another one forward again. So then I sold my business. So I was able to sell it. And that was a whole chapter of my life. It took me 15 months to negotiate my way out. I had this business, but no operating agreement between my partner and I.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a wild journey, but it taught me a lot. And I just
Mhm.
always had this in me that I'm here to be a guide, that I'm here to guide others.
Yeah.
And scaling that business was wild, but also really fun. So I'm excited now that I get to work with other women and help them scale their business in a way that's sustainable, and that they get to that, whatever figure that they get to, and they
Mhm.
feel fulfilled and not just like,
Yes.
wow, I have all this money, but I don't have health, or I don't have my family, or I don't have a relationship with my kids. So I'm all about holistic success now. Like, how do we find success in all areas of our lives, not just financially, but all of the important areas? So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much. So, a couple of things came up for me. One, I too have sold a business, and I remember thinking at the time, I've never had a more lonely endeavor in my life. Like it's super exciting at first because there's so much weight on your shoulders to get it right for so many people, regardless. And just it's hard for anyone to relate what you're going through. And I remember
Mhm.
saying that to a friend of mine who had ghostwritten books for a number of entrepreneurs, and she's like, everyone I know that sold a business says the same thing. So I'm
Mhm.
just throwing that out there in case someone listening is going through that or they're thinking about selling a business. Like, I don't discourage it, but just like you have to be prepared for the entrepreneur roller coaster, like be prepared for like that experience, right? So
Oh, yeah.
I don't
It
know
was so
anything you'd like
wild.
to add. Yeah.
No, it was because you just don't know. You've never done it before, right? So, like, there
Yes.
was just so much that I had to learn, and I'm not into numbers. Like, that's not my forte. And I
Yeah.
had to just get down and dirty with the numbers, and really negotiate. And this was before Chat GPT, because I wish I had more access to Chat GPT back then and just be like, remove all the emotions and just negotiate this for
Yeah.
me. But back, 2 years ago, it was just like I would read these emails and have to sit with it for days to be like, what
Mm-hmm.
is the best response here, right? Because we're talking about lots of dollars. So every word had to be crafted in a way. So anyways, there's just a lot of emotions too, because
Yeah.
when you sell a business, it's kind of like selling your baby. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you put a number on that? How do you put a number on the all the nights that I didn't sleep, or the times that I worked 80, 60 hour weeks? It's like, it's really hard. But I am so grateful that I did that. And I had a great team. I had a great advisors. And that's what
Love it.
I would suggest to anyone that's
Yes.
interested, thinking about selling. Don't do it on your own. Like, it's so worth it to have a great lawyer, a great business advisor, someone that can like really, that has done it before, because I hadn't done it before. So it was worth every penny. It was very expensive, but I'm so grateful for my team.
No, I would second that because I was an attorney and I was a financial advisor, right? And still I was like, nope, I need help with this. So
Mhm.
I love that so much.
Mhm.
And then the other thing I heard, and I'd love you to hop in here, Sairan, is you got to 7 figures, but it felt empty. But that's not always the case. And that's why I love that you're focused on holistic because I chat with so many women that they're fearful of getting to a 7-figure business because they imagine it's what you're sharing, that it's 80-hour weeks and they don't get to see their kids. Like what what you just shared is a lot of women's feared future. And like, it doesn't have to be that way to have a 7-figure business, right? So I'd love you to hop in here, Sairan, and how you help women transform. And Fernanda, I'd love to go back to you and maybe tips on how you do it differently this time, or are doing it differently and more holistically, right? So Sairan, I'd love to
Yes.
hear from you because I know you help a lot of women midlife find something new, and I'm sure you hear a lot
Yes.
of the same hesitancies. I think we work with a very similar client
Yes.
base, right?
Yes. Yes, which is normal. I mean, every one of us are continuous searching and looking for solution. Before AI and after AI, we still not did not figure out everything the right way. There is no straight line. This is
Yes.
infinity journey. So I feel entrepreneurship, it's an endless learning journey. You can get to a point and you put a target in front of you, said, oh, I reached that target. Now I have a successful business bringing revenue, then I'm
Yes.
good to go. If you are a real entrepreneur, you are never good to go. You always seek another opportunity. You embrace the unknown. You embrace the scary new idea that's scary to death, and you're going to do it. Going back to your question, the women which that I talk with and mentor and coach, they are from the technology background. And I would say 90% of them, they have the same statement said to me, but in different style. They have a job. The job pay them very well. They have
Yeah.
$1 million house. The husband is wonderful. He help around the house. The kids are a student. They have 2 dogs, 3-car garage, financial no problem, everything. But then why you are here? I don't know. I don't feel joy. What do you mean? Explain
Yes.
more. We don't know. We are seeking something. We don't know even what it is. Financially, we are comfortable. We go to 4 or 5 vacation in a year. The kids are doing well in school. They're out of trouble. But every time we sit with ourselves, we don't feel fulfilled. So there are lack of joy, there are lack of that fulfillment. And when I go deep down, like we said in coaching wall, we peel the onion to go deep down to see what is the issue. It's always the same thing, is they don't have a purpose. Their
Yes.
job is not doing any impact. Their job is not adding anything, is not making any difference. Yes, they are an IT. Yes, they are an engineer. Yes, they are a chief safety officer or the director of the department. The money is there. Where is the joy? They come to me kind of like they are about to forget about their soul and their genuine feeling. They become this machine. Every day they go and sit in the boardroom, answering guys, talking with fact and bullet and numbers. And there is no life into it. There is no soul. There is no joy. So that's when I come as a coach and I ask them question. Some of them, they answer you, April. They love to go back when they are teenage or they are younger, they're 20.
Yeah.
Most of the guys, they don't like that question. Guys, they want to look like, I can handle everything. I'm the guy. I got it all. He don't like me when I ask, what do you have done in your youth, when you're 20 and teenage? Did you play sport? You love sport? Did you love riding? You were the life of the, party. You are partying a lot. The guys don't like to answer you right away. Women
Yeah.
open up more. They start telling you, oh, when I was a teenage, since I was a teenage, I love to draw. And they show me pieces of their art. And they're an engineer, make a lot of money. I say, oh my God, this art is so beautiful. What is those pieces? Oh, I just draw it now a little bit here and there and throw it in the basement.
Yeah.
Don't throw that gem in the basement. That's your hidden gem. And I'm not asking you to quit your 6, 7 figures job so you can draw. That's dreaming. But at least I'm asking you to bring that hidden talent and share it with the world. That art will make someone heart full of love and color. Why are you hiding it in the basement? Well, I don't know. It's not perfect. When is perfect anyway? Who
Right.
has a perfect piece? Who has a perfect life? Nobody got the perfect. We are all here trying. We are all pieces of the puzzles. We're trying to complete and make that coexistent.
No, I
So
love
that's what
that
I
so
do.
much. it fills their soul. It's interesting because when I was starting the Vixen gathering, I was like, okay, who am I working with? And I was guided to work with women. And then I read something about life cycles and, every 7 years. So basically in age
Mm.
38 to 43, and for some women it starts earlier and some women later,
Yeah.
is when they start spiritually seeking, like what's really going to
Yes.
fulfill their soul. And what you're
Yes.
talking about is true. It's like, okay, I did everything I was supposed to. I've checked all the boxes. This is what I thought was going to make me happy. And yet I
Yes.
don't feel whole. And so I can relate to everything you shared. So, Fernanda, I'd love to ask you, because you just shared a similar experience for yourself, right? That you went through. So, what do you feel you were lacking before that your new business fulfills for you?
I think Sairan is spot on. It's the purpose. I had this, my purpose was money. It was
Mhm.
material. It wasn't deep enough. And I had to go through this journey of, thinking that it was the material to go back and be like, oh, okay, my purpose is actually to be of service to others,
Mhm.
right? Like my purpose is to serve God, and
Mhm.
serving others is serving God. And once I connected those two, I realized that, oh, this is what I do. And I could be coaching, I could be scrubbing the toilet, I could be
Yeah,
doing whatever. What I do doesn't really matter as
I
long as
agree.
I'm serving, right? So, like, that other business could have worked had I known what my real purpose was, that it wasn't just to get more money, that it wasn't just to drive the newest
Mm-hmm.
car, right? But because it was wrapped around that, I just wanted to burn it down at the end because I was just
Mhm.
so burned out from the business. And my goal is to help other women to not get to that point where you want to
Yes.
burn your business down to the ground, because we put so much energy into these businesses. And it's so true. There's always going to be a new level. You're never going to get to a
Mhm.
point where you're like, I know everything. I don't need any more mentors, right? Like every new level, there's a new devil.
Yes.
And it's so true. And it's like a journey. You have to just keep
Yeah.
growing with your business. But yeah, I hope that answered your question.
No,
Yes,
it does. And
beautiful.
I like
Mhm.
to use the analogy of like we're climbing the mountain, right? And the view is different from every level, because there
Mhm.
was one training I got like some award for going the most, but I went as my business progressed because every time I was hearing the same thing, but I was hearing it from a different level of the mountain, right? So the view
Yes.
was different. And that's why
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of basics and fundamentals. Sometimes people get bored by that, but okay, what were the basics and fundamentals that won for you? And like, let's revisit because they look different from this angle. So,
Mhm.
thank you so much for sharing your specific purpose. I know that we all pretty much work with women. So if someone's listening, we have a woman listening saying, "Oh my gosh, you're speaking to my soul. This is me. I feel like the machine every day. I should be happy with my life, but something's missing." I'd love to say, Run, we'll start with you, but where should our like beautiful listener start? Like what's the first step to figuring something out? Where would you guide her?
This is very important question, and it's very essential to answer it correctly to the audience and to anyone who's listening to your platform. It's to cut the noise and sit down with themselves and clearly ask strong and deep question to themselves. If they are still not feeling the joy and the happiness, they need to sit down alone, cut all the crowd and the noise kids has been in the room, and write it down. Why I am not finding a joy? What is missing? And they have to answer it very frankly because this is their life. This is your journey. I'm not gonna come as a coach. I'm not solving your problem. I'm not a magician. I'm not gonna come and say, here it is. These are the solution. Do 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna be the happiest woman. It doesn't work like that. The solution have to come out of your thinking and from your deep thinking and from out of your mouth. Because if I come and telling you, oh, April, I think you are not having joy because you need to marry this kind of person and you need this much money. I am speaking out of my experience, which
Right.
might not match or fulfill what you are really looking for. And going back to what you said about the view from the mountain is so true. Sometimes when you tell someone to be active, you're not going to tell them to start with marathon and running. You're telling him to start walking a little bit, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Those little small bite, that's what is give the biggest pleasure and taste. And Fernanda mentioned it, and when she sold her company, it's not a pleasant experience to sold. It's like you raising a baby and you give it him away, right? Is our business are our baby. We raise them. It's not nice when you sold it or you don't, or you change your niche or you shut down the platform like I did. But when things happen dramatically, all by sudden you are a millionaire. All by sudden you're making a lot of money. You have to question it, because easy come, easy go. Anything come easy to you is gonna get away from your hand. But when she sold her company, when Fernanda started from the beginning with her husband, they did a different path of coaching. Now she feel the flavor, she feel the taste is different. It tastes better because no one threw that in her lab. Here it is, $1 million. It doesn't taste when somebody threw it in your lab. Actually, when it's happens so quick, you have to question it. Is that was gifted to me? Or has happened because I took that climb and the view step by step and I reach where I am? So it takes time. It's a journey, and you will feel the pleasure when you get the milestone. I still remember the first time here in DC, they asked me to be on the platform and to speak with a group of women who were all engineers. I literally forgot my name. I mean, oh, here I am, master degree, smart in math. I can solve any math equation for you. I get annoyed if I don't design something so precise and concise to you. And here I am, smart engineer with all my number. I went to the stage and the lady kept looking at me like, what's going on? I forgot why I am there, because speaking was not something that I mastered yet. Now, I'm not saying I am one of the elite speakers, but I'm more comfortable because I've done it for so many times. So it's a journey, it's phases. You just have to go through them.
Yeah. And Fernanda, I'd love to hear your first advice too, but two things came up for me there. One, when you said get quiet with yourself, it's your journey. So yes, it's not someone else's, but the hardest part sometimes is to realize it's also not your husband's, not your children's, not your parents, because a lot of times the people who love us the most want to give us the most advice, right? But you're living your journey, not their journey. So it's
And they
even
want
being
us to
quiet
be
from that.
safe too.
Yes.
Yeah. Cut you
Yes.
off.
No, I love it. Please. That's 100% true. It's for our protection, right? But we have to go outside of that cage to live that charged life. So, yes, I totally agree. And one other thing that came up to me on the mountain is be very, very careful. And Fernanda, I'd love to hear from you. You know, I had a successful multiple 7-figure a year revenue business that I, sold, walked away from to do this work and make this impact because it's what I felt like I needed now. And I'm going to tell you, I had the checks to write and I had the 16 years of experience. It's still freaking hard starting a new business, right? And you got to remember, because I'm used to being on the mountain here and now I'm on the mountain here, and it's a transition, right? So be careful when you're starting here that you're not comparing yourself to someone up here, right? Be very careful, especially in this highlight world. But Fernanda, I feel like you have something to say on this.
Oh, it's so good. I feel like both of you guys, we're just putting this picture together, but like the mountain, the idea of like you're climbing this mountain, right? And you're so spot on, Sairan. Like the idea of we have to create space to connect back with ourselves, right? And understand what do I actually want to do? Not what my dad wants from me, not what society wants from me, not what Instagram's telling me to do, but what do I actually want to do? And be patient, because these answers do not come overnight. It took me a full year of self-inquiry. Like, being coached was my part-time job for a year. Like, I had 7 different coaches at once,
Same.
just like for different things. And I had my therapist and I had like all kinds of stuff. And I went deep because I wanted to figure this out, because I didn't want to build another business that I hated at the end. So I was really serious about it, and still took me a year to like be really definitive and be like, this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
But I think be patient with yourself, right? Because it takes time to decondition, like going back to what you were talking about, April, the 7 years, right? The journey of 7 years. It actually takes 7 years for you to decondition as well. So,
Yes.
if it took you 40 years to believe all these things, it's gonna take you some time to create a new narrative, to create a new story. So understanding where you are in the mountain, right? Like, I'm here. I'm just building my foundation, and just be
Yes.
patient, because building the foundation is actually the thing that takes the longest, right? When you're building a house, you have to build a solid foundation, and it's going to take some time. So I think that that's my advice for someone. It's like,
Yeah.
know where you are in the grand scheme of this mountain, right? Like, okay, I'm just starting the climb. What are the things that I need? What are the tools that I need, right? And yeah.
No, I love that. And
Totally.
this is coming up for me because you say, what do you want? So I'm very good at going out and getting what I want. I'll just be honest. Like my whole life, I want to go to a good school. Okay, go
That's
to a good school.
great.
Okay, I want to do this. I mean, I screwed around in law school. I still got a job at the best law firm in Atlanta on the best team. Like, I just like these things happen, right? But I'm 48. And look, our journey is all different. For a part of my life, I did turn away from God and I talked about the universe. And now for me, it's all God. So wherever you are on your journey, please honor that. But I will tell you, and I've started training for spiritual healing for God, and I've had a spiritual healer for years. And so for me, I'm always checking in with God, because I know April can say, I want this and go get it. But I've learned that sometimes it's not the right thing for me, right? That's happened so much. So, I mean, and I actually was talking to my spiritual coach last week. I was like, am I going crazy? Like, maybe I'm manic
Yeah.
depressant. And he was like, no, you're just learning a new way of your intuition
Yes.
feeding you info, right? Because, and
Yes.
I shared with Sairan, I'm moving back to Houston. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to move to Houston. I went and looked at apartments, and then I go, I forgot to ask my intuition and God. And I asked and I got a no, you need to be a nomad. And I was like, crap. And then I was like in Houston, I go, can I just go look at places again? And I did. And then again, I got a no. And so then someone reached out to me, long story short. And then I checked, and then I got a yes. Yes, you can have, like, keep it simple, get a place, still travel. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yes.
But I mean, from the outside world, if I shared this with everyone, what I was going through, the most people in the world would be like, you're insane. Like, how many times are you going to change your mind? But I mean, I know I've run after things before and I've gotten them and they weren't the right thing. So for me, it's worth taking that time. I only share it within trusted circles that I'm changing my mind, because I don't need everyone to say what's wrong with you. And that's where I am. And I have to know that, okay, it takes me a little bit longer right now to feel good about that decision, because I want that foundation when I go somewhere. And I use that term all the time. So I love that. So, Seiren, I feel like you're itching
Yes.
at the bit to hop in. Please go.
You mentioned something about you moving out and about you are very clear where you're going. And I just want to emphasize and piggyback about what you said. Clarity is power. Clarity is so important. Because if, for example, if you're invited to a wedding or in a restaurant or an event and I don't know the address, I'm going to put the address on the navigator, and the navigator in
Yes.
the car will give me two paths. They tell me you can use the highway or you can use the shortcut and the back road. If I am not clear which one, my car will not cut in half in both paths, right? Either I'm going to
Right.
choose the highway or I'm going to choose.
Yes.
So clarity, even we use clarity even when we put the address in Navigator. We use clarity when you go to restaurant and you decided you're going to have fish today or vegetable or a steak, right? So
Yep.
it's up to you. And going back to what you said about decision, that's a very, very, very profound word. Decision, it's all up to us. Success is a decision. Failure is a decision. Me being in this podcast with you and Fernanda is a decision I made to be available for this lovely podcast.
Yes.
It's my decision that's put me in front of people. It's my decision to walk away from a bad relationship and stop the abuse. It's my decision to walk away from the job they don't appreciate me enough. So we can't blame the universe, what's happened to us. It's sad. Let's say if I lost someone, you went back to God and they died. I can't change that. That's the universe, right? But it's my decision if I want to honor their life or just feel depressed for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Everything is a decision, and it's up to us to be so, I think Fernanda touched that before, how to be like really listening to yourself, conscious, and be aware. Where am I? And the biggest question, what do I really want? What do I really want? Fernanda talked earlier about, is it the money? She found out it's not the money. Same thing with me. I shut down my project. Just like she sold her company, I shut down my project last year. It was a full-blown website. I spent so much money on the design, logo, everything. There was no AI on 2020. And when I shut it down September 1st, just that day when I shut down the platform, I lost over $35,000. And I called one of my friends. I said, can you come and walk with me? Because I just lost a lot of money. She said, are you okay? I said, before I go cuckoo, come and see me. And I think I walked like 6.5 miles. I took that walk, long walk, and I asked my question, why I did that? What's happened? But like Fernanda said earlier, it was the best decision I made that I shut down that project because I'm in a better version of myself. I didn't continue something that didn't work for me. So everything happened for a good reason.
Oh, I love that so much. This makes me so happy. I just wanted to say something really quick, but I think that we get, like, society often tells us, right, that like we have to hustle and we have to work really hard. And if we change paths, then that's failure. But I think there's something so powerful about being on a path and recognizing, look, this is not getting me closer to the version that I ultimately want to become. So now I got to hop on this other path. And our lives is just a bunch of different paths. It's one road that will lead you to another road, to another road, to another connection. So this idea that we have to follow the same road until the day we die is just so crazy. Like, we are not meant to do the same job, the same thing day after day for, years and years. We're meant to evolve. We're hardwired for evolution. That's humanity. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So there is something actually really freeing about recognizing something like you were saying, Sairan, like, this relationship isn't for me, or this isn't for me. And it's your choice. You're absolutely right. You're the one driving the car. And you get to redirect your car if this road isn't the right road for you, and your heart's leading you to something else, and your heart's telling you, your body's always telling you, like, this isn't the thing for me. I was like physically ill when I was in my last career. My body was like literally communicating with me, like, this isn't it for you. This is not the road for you. So listening to your body, acknowledging all the things, and knowing that, like, there's no such thing as failing, because it's just opportunities. It's just one step that's going to get you closer to the next step, right? Like, failing, there's not even a thing as failure. So I just think giving ourselves the permission to try different roads and not have this stigma of, oh my gosh, I failed. But no, I tried this. It wasn't for me. So now I'm ready to try something else.
Yes, totally. Beautifully said.
Love it. I just want to share something that came up for me. And this is why I love podcasting, because I learn something in every episode. So thank you, amazing women. So I gave October of 2021, I gave up pharmaceutical medicine, like even Tylenol, et cetera, as a spiritual choice. And then I was like, wow, I haven't been sick since I gave up medicine, which is kind of crazy, a whole nother topic. And then
Yeah.
like I don't have allergies, etc. But at the same time, like that next April, I decided to sell my business. So I think it was the combo of both, right? Because I was being called to a new purpose. But like it's the craziest
Yes.
thing. I literally never get sick, knock on wood. But part of it is every day I say I don't get sick, right? Like I'm super healthy. So yeah, that came to me when you were talking about getting physically ill in your last business, because if you are getting ill a lot, you have to question like what's not aligned for me, because disease is dis-ease, right? You're not at
Yeah.
ease. So
Yeah.
anyway, I just
Yeah.
had this
So,
huge aha. I wanted to share it live on air. So thank you for that. And I
so
love one thing you said, Sairan, and then we'll take this home. I wish I could talk to you for hours, so maybe we'll do a part
yeah.
two to this. But you said decision, you said making choices, Fernanda, and I really believe both in my coaching practice and my spiritual healing practice, like once you understand everything is a choice, it's the ultimate freedom. I'm not saying it's easy. Sometimes the choice is very hard, right? But you are in control of your choice. So, and I don't know,
Yes.
once I understood that, it's just like, you just don't really have bad days anymore. You might have a difficult day or a challenging day, but I think it goes back to you, Sarah. We no longer are the victim of anything. We're the heroine of the
Yes.
journey, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Because we all are looking for something. We're all looking to be best version of ourselves. But is
Mm-hmm.
there is a written manual for that? No, it's not.
No.
Because my story is not like April's story, not like Fernanda, not like the audience. Each one of us come from different background. We've been raised differently. We have a different childhood and growing up and, college, fall in love, first marriage and then work, second marriage. So it's a matter of giving ourselves space and permission, like Fernanda stated earlier, giving your permission to yourself to change and try new things. I feel like life threw things in front of you for a purpose. And sometimes we get mad, women in general, because I coach women and men. I see that when I coach men. Women, we seek perfection. The house has to be clean, the kids has to be a student, the husband has to cook, and I have to be the best in my job. Okay, why? Then we call ourselves old, then we call ourselves not capable. And sometimes I have to correct my client because they said, "Oh, do you think is it too late to start something?" Like, the name of the podcast is Never Too Late to Change Your Life. Sairan, is too late. I said, "How old are you?" "I'm 52. And I'm old. I'm my mid 50. And she's telling
That's
me
not
old.
old.
I said, "Which books?" I said, "Which book say you're old?" "Well, I said, "No, just tell me which book, which Bible, which manual, which fact in the wall say 52 is old for." Why I never hear that from a man? He's in late 60 and he's asked me
Never.
how to find a new. He never, the man will never admit he's still looking and dating and good looking. I'm George Clooney, all women looking at me. Why women? We don't want wrinkles, right? I
Yeah.
don't want wrinkles. I want the house is clean, the bathroom is shiny, and the kids perfect. Why are you seeking perfection? Where is the progress? There is no progress in seeking perfection. When you make those small bite progress, that's the success because you are
Yeah.
progressing, right? So when they come to me, they come with bunch of beliefs, bunch of story, and I stop them. And when they start whining and venting, I say, "Listen, you have 20 minutes complimentary with me. After that, I'm charging a lot of money in an hour. And I don't want you to, I'm not a vent machine. You are really talking about your husband is not cleaning up. What's that to do with my niche? You are here, I'm coaching you. Why you tell, I'm not a
Yes.
therapist, right? You're telling me your husband is not cleaning after himself. What in the world going on here?" So I tell them, I said, "When you come and sit in front of me after the 20 minutes complimentary, I want you to be present and I don't want you to wish things. I want you to be committed to things." They said, "What is the
Mm-hmm.
difference?" I said, "The difference is you come to me, you wishing to start a small business. That's my niche in Instagram. But you are venting. So that's when you are not committed yet. When you
Mm-hmm.
are committed, come and see me again. I'm not the
Yeah.
type of coach I'm going to listen to you. We are not best friend, having coffee at Panera Bread. I'm your coach. I'm not your friend yet. I am a coach who done engineering for 35 years. Equation has to add up. I need result for you. I need to take you from A
Yes.
to B. Don't vent. If you vent a little bit, the traffic was bad, it's okay. 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Don't make it a trend. Every time you come in front of me venting about life and you label yourself old, you label yourself ugly. From where do you get those labels from? It's all self-made. It's a decision. Again, it's your decision how to even pronounce and how to show up in the world. It's your decision.
That's very beautiful. Well, ladies, this has been an amazing, beautiful conversation, and I could talk to you all day long, but I also believe in honoring your time. So, unfortunately, we're
Yes.
close to time. But before we go, I always like to ask, because I do believe in us being balanced in our masculine and feminine energy. And I think we see often, all of us, when working with women, that the West is so masculinized that we have to like swing the pendulum back, right? So, I love to ask, what are you doing when you feel your most feminine, like your feminine energy flowing? And what color is your feminine energy? So I'd love to hear that from each of you as we wrap up. And then also go ahead and share with us how our audience can find you. That would be amazing.
So I love the question about the feminine energy. And I was thinking about that. I think for me, it's whenever I'm in touch with my intuition, when I have this little feeling, it's like that butterfly feeling, that's leading me to the next thing. And I just feel excited. And something just connects for me that makes me feel really alive, that like I can really trust in this experience, that I'm being led. And that makes me really vibe with my feminine energy, just my intuition. My color is definitely purple, like
I could
similar to
tell.
my little sign that I
Beautiful.
have here. I don't know why, but I've just been led to purple. I'm sorry. And the other question was where to find me, right?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I hang out on Instagram a lot. It's Fernanda.Bertrand. I have my coaching with my husband called Creating Change, and we just kind of started doing that together. It's really fun to collaborate. He's also an engineer. So he really, and he's a high performance coach. So he really helps me because I'm like the dreaming and manifesting. And he's like action, right? So we actually merge the feminine and masculine together in our
Love
coaching,
it.
where it's like, I'm like, dream as big as you can. And he's like, okay, now let's figure it out how to make this dream into reality and like step back into like actionable steps. He's really good at
Yeah.
doing that. So I love us working together. And yeah, so I hang out a lot on Instagram.
That's so funny. I love
Great.
it. And Sairan?
Yeah, I think Fernanda said it way better than me. Mine, maybe because I work with men a lot, 99% my construction, right? I mean, transit, everyone is men. I think I feel complete woman when I don't complain and I don't justify. When I stop complaining and whining and I don't justify why I did certain things. I do the work well and I ask for forgiveness later, right? And also, I feel women, we have the power by not replying and being silent. Sometimes when someone try to belittle you or say something inappropriate, the best answer, the biggest slap you can give that person is silent and not reply. Not everything worth respond, not everything worth our energy and replying. And women will be such a classy style woman and beautiful woman if she choose who to reply with. So no complaint, no justify, and no reply, which is hard sometimes for women. You want to smack that person, but it's okay. Just give him the look. The
And
look
if
is
I
the
can
smack.
pop in from a
Yeah.
spiritual perspective, it's called standing in your
Yeah.
dignity, which is the highest
Yes.
spiritual elevation for
Yes.
a woman. Like for men, it's to be
Yes.
respected. For women, it's standing in her dignity. And when you make that switch, and it really is just a switch, it happened for me overnight. It's amazing what starts happening around you, right? So,
Yes.
so I
Yes.
love that. But yeah, you so
Yes.
beautifully
Yeah.
explained it because I talk about standing in
Yeah.
your dignity a lot. So thank you.
Totally. Totally. And also Stoic. I read a lot about Stoic and Stoicism with Ryan Holiday and it's telling you how to react and how to not holding your emotion, but how to channel your emotion in a classy way. Because see, on a man word, when we speak up, they said she overreacted. But when a man loud in the conference room, they said he's brave. But when a woman speak up, she's overreacting or she's going through something. So I said it differently than Fernanda just because she said it beautifully, but I said it like from the man world because I've been with men for over 35 years. The color that I love is always gold and blue together, and that's remind me about the education and institution because every university have that navy blue color with the gold. And when I wear them, I feel my best version when I wear gold in color with blue. And the third part of your question, where people can find me, if you want any technology, engineering consultation, you can find me in LinkedIn. I separate my day job from my side business. Sairan Aqrawi, that's the LinkedIn, and my business platform in Instagram is Sairan Aqrawi, one word. And I'm happy to answer any other question for your audience.
I love it so much. And by the way, if you're listening, I know all of this information will be in the show notes, even a link to things like the book that Sairan just referenced. It's all there, super easy for you. But if you don't go to the show notes, here's how you can get it easily. Go to vixengathering.com/podcast and subscribe. If you share your email with us every Tuesday and Thursday, you will get the list of amazing resources, the contacts of our amazing guests, and you just have to click on the link and you're magically connected. So go do that now. So ladies, thank you so much. I know we're a little over time. I hope we're good. This has just been an amazing blessing of a conversation. Thank you both. I know that our audience is touched by it. And if you're listening and you want to give us your feedback, please do. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know that you love this episode. You can do that on Apple, Spotify, or in the comments and YouTube. So thank you, ladies. And as we leave, I just want to share, I always say the world needs more love. And, we talked about joy today, and I believe the first way you can start being joyous is simply seeking joy. Every morning, just say, where am I going to find joy today? And it might surprise you because you might have forgotten what brings you joy. So it's such a beautiful way to love yourself. Just intentionally seek joy. And for me, having amazing conversations like this are the most joyous things. So every day I seek a joyous conversation. So I want to thank our beautiful guests, Sairan, Fernanda. Thank you for this joyous conversation today. And everyone have an amazing day. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you both so much for giving totally from your heart. Awesome. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so future episodes are automatically downloaded directly to your device. And if you want access to today's show notes, including links to all the resources we mentioned, visit vixengathering.com/podcast. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week for another episode of The Vixen Voice.